Hello matey, welcome back to the channel. It's Coventry City 1, Swansea City 0. The first time we've beaten them at the CBS since 1981. What a Boxing Day. Little post-match Christmas present for you guys there if you're a Sky Blues fan. Let me know in the comments down below what were your thoughts on the game. Who was your man of the match? I'd love to read all those sort of comments. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because we're closing in on 700 subscribers before the end of the year. If you can make that possible, that would be much appreciated. Let's jump straight into the match reaction. So the first half, I think Swansea City were really good. The first 5, 10, 15 minutes, they looked like they were the home team. They were dictating the tempo. They were controlling the ball. They had that first good chance in the game when they got down that left-hand side. Our centre-backs got pulled out. They had it into the middle, and he just took that extra touch that he didn't need to, and he had that shot. And on another day, that goes in the back of the net. We're 1-0 down again at home, and we're going to have to fight that uphill battle that we have done previously this season. So it was good that we kept that clean sheet in the first 15 to 20 minutes, and then they started to dictate the tempo again after that. We didn't really get a foothold into the game probably before about the 35th minute, 30th minute, but before that it was all them, and they weren't necessarily doing too much after that big chance that they had. As I mentioned in my match preview, they were going to dictate the ball as much as they could, hold it with the midfielders and knock it around the back foot, and that's exactly what they did in that first half. Once we got onto the ball, created one chance, the crowd lifted the players up, and the crowd today, from my opinion, from what I saw, from what I heard on the television, I wasn't there, it looked really lackluster again, and we're just turning up to the games expecting that we needed to win. And once you saw, when we had one chance in the game and the crowd got lifted up, we were just a different team. We created more chances, more opportunities. The players responded to it. I think the fans need to play a bigger part going into the second half of the season because we're now halfway through the games. 23 played, 23 to go. 8 points clear at the top of the table, 13 points clear of third spot. The fans need to play their part every single game, no matter if we're playing terrible like we were against Swansea the first 15-20 minutes. We need to be there and back the boys. If you look at the stats in the first half, you know, we had 45% possession compared to their 55. We had a better XG output, 9 shots compared to 3, 4 shots on target compared to 1. We missed one big chance in that first half. I think that was credited towards Ellis Sims with that header. What an absolute fantastic save by the goalkeeper. Yeah, you can criticise Ellis Sims probably for not headering it straight into the goal, but headering it down. But the goalkeeper, I didn't realise on the first glance how close it was actually going into the goal. The GDS came up on my screen and I was like, oh, I don't know why they're doing this. It wasn't even close. Half the ball was over the line, half the ball wasn't. So we're very unlucky not to get that goal at that moment. Also Mason Clark with the follow-up chance where it hits Jack Rodoni. Jack Rodoni today was not at his best. I think he had a couple of instances where he drove at the midfielders, drove at the defence line, but he was really lacklustre, and I think that was one of his poorest games that he's had for us in a long time. So we created those 2 chances. Victor Torp gets the ball in the midfield, whips it in, Mason Clark wins the header, goes off their defender, goes out for a throw-in. Then we know what happens. The Milan special. The throw-in merchant absolutely launches it into the box. We get a flick on. Mason Clark spins on his left foot, rifles it into the top left. What an absolute demon this guy is on the back post. I don't know how many goals he scored from that position now. I mean, it was Stoke City that he scored. He scored against Southampton. That was more centralised. But when he's in the box, he's so dangerous, Mason Clark. And today he was our best player, bar none. Everything was going down our left-hand side. Sort of similar to them, where everything was going down their right-hand side when they were going up against Jake Bidwell. But Mason Clark today, he was elite. And I feel like he should have been a little bit more greedy in certain instances where he drove at the defenders, opened his body, and he didn't take the shot, and then he laid it off. He should have taken the shot a few more times. We came out in the second half. We looked a lot better. We were dictating the tempo from minute 45 all the way probably about to minute 70, minute 65. We dictated it. They got onto the ball, and we just did our usual thing, which I don't like how we do this. We let them have the ball. We let them dictate tempo. But our 2 centre-backs today, Liam Kitchen and Wolverhampton, were excellent in defence. Wolverhampton, one of the best games I've seen him. That is the player I thought we signed from Ipswich Town when he first came in. It was a colossal defensive masterclass, some big stops in there, some big deflections. He was really good in that defensive line. When we were defending, our most vulnerable position, of course, was left back. Jake Bidwell, I mean, I've lost for words how poor he is defensively. Going forward, he was good. He put in a couple of good crosses, But being a left back is all about defending. It's not about attacking. You focus on keeping it out of your net first, and then going forward is an added bonus in my opinion. And defensively, he's so poor. He's out of position so many times. He allows them to get into the box, doesn't close them down quick enough. And that back pass he did to Carl Rushworth, where I think he pulled his groin or he tweaked his groin. My God, trying to injure our best goalkeeper, why don't you? Trying to give up our promotion hopes for a back pass like that. That was just abysmal. And then he did another back pass straight after that. Oh, I mean, he's just so bad at left back. But then again, who would you put there? Miguel Angel Brau, which Lampard doesn't seem to like to play him at left back, even though he is a traditional left back. He brought him on for Mason Clark in the second half. So I guess he was our only option. I probably would have put Kane Kessler-Hayden at left back, but the way that the game went, I think Milan had to come off because he was still feeling a little bit ill after the previous 2 games and that flu that's going around in the club. So that's understandable. Milan had to come off, Kane had to go at right back. So technically we did have to start Bidwell at left back, but you could just tell he's not up to the standards. He's probably a mid-table to lower table championship player, and when we're at top of the league going for the title, he sticks out like a sore thumb. And then we move along to the biggest chance that Swansea had, where they had it down the left hand side, whipped it in, and their player, I don't even know who missed it, but oh my God, obviously he didn't watch the 1987 FA Cup final where Keith Howson did that diving header. That's all he needed to do. Header it into the back of the net, but he decides to inside foot it and he just goes over the bar. We got away with murder, but that's what happens. That's what happens when we are top of the league. Everything goes our way. Those chances that they missed in the first half where they should be 1 or 2-0 up, they don't take it. We take one chance that we had in the game, which was really good. They have a really good opportunity like that one where they should just tap it into the back of the net. It should be 1-1, but they don't take it. Sort of similar to Middlesbrough, that game that we played where we were 2-0 up, 2-2. They had that chance and then we go and score down the other end. They missed a big chance, Middlesbrough. Swansea missed a big chance. That's what's happening against us at the moment. And there will be some games this season where loads of teams take all their opportunities, like the Wrexham game. They won against us 3-2, but they took every single chance that they had in that game and they were very clinical and we couldn't deal with it at the time. But today we got away with it a little bit. I mean, Swansea probably come away from this game. If I was a Swansea fan, personally, I would come away from it just really disappointed not to get a point at least. I thought they were really excellent. I feel like they played a really good game. And seeing them sit in 19th before this game kicked off was really baffling to me. Also, just one quick note, their top. Mwah, that is a beautiful football top. The beautiful colour scheme. I love that so much. I think it looked really sexy on the pitch. It's a nice kit. If you're a Swansea fan, you should definitely buy that. That's so nice. Or if you're a football shirt collector, get it in your collection. Looking at a few plays for Coventry before we go into my player ratings, I think Ellis Sims up front was woeful. I don't think he did one good thing today besides that header that he had at goal. His hold-up play was terrible. He was doing his usual Ellis Sims jumping where he doesn't get anywhere near the ball and makes it look like it's an effort to get the ball. That infuriates me. Rodoni in the midfield, as I mentioned, very poor from him today. Sakamoto on the right-hand side. A couple of times today he was really good, but the one thing that annoys me about Tats the most is the power he puts behind the shot is not strong enough. He needs to put more power. It's almost like he's passing it into the goalkeeper. And I say that a lot. I say, look at Lionel Messi. He passes it into the back of the net. But you've got to put a little bit of oomph on it. And what Tats does all the time, he cuts it on his left-hand side and he just tries to curl it. And it's such a weak shot. It's almost watching like under 15s, the power that he puts onto it. He needs to hit leg day on that left-hand side. Leg day every single day on his left leg. Get into the gym. Do that, put some power behind those shots please, because they're so tame every single time. He had 2 chances today where he did that, and if he had the power on the shots, they would be beating the goalkeeper. It wasn't good enough for him shooting wise today. Other than that, he played well. Rushworth in goal again, just really good. Hopefully he's not injured after that back pass from Bidwell. But yeah, let's move into my play ratings for Coventry 1, Swansea City 0. Starting off with Carl Rushworth, let's give him a 7.5 out of 10. A clean sheet, didn't do anything wrong today. There was one moment in the first half, or was it the second half? I can't remember, where he had the ball, he got closed down, almost gave it away. But in the end, he kept the clean sheet, made some good saves. He definitely deserves a 7.5. Milan at right back, I think he was a 7.5. I'll give him 7.5 just because of the clean sheet. I think he was really excellent. Defensively, he was doing what I've been screaming out for this whole entire season. When we're attacking, just drop him back at centre back and he covers the back three. It's so easy. He's got the pace. Anytime they try to lump it forward after a corner that we had, they just couldn't get the ball because Milan, the pace merchant, was dealing with it all day long. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about with him, of course, is the back pass that he does to the goalkeeper after they try and play it forward. As we know, in the semi-final playoff game against Sunderland last season, he did the back pass and they intercepted it and scored. So hopefully he doesn't do that, but as long as he doesn't do that, no one's getting anywhere near him. So 7.5 for me. Wolverhampton, 7 out of 10. Colossal in defence today. I think he was really good at headering the ball out a lot. That is the centre-back that I thought that we signed at the start of the season. And when he's came on for cameos this season, he hasn't looked good enough for my standards and the standards that I thought that he should be doing. But he proved me wrong today. He got the start. He's played 2 games in a row. He's looked really good in both of them. 7 out of 10. Liam Kitchen, 7.5. His distribution today was excellent, especially when he has a player like Bidwell next to him. He's almost having to do 2 jobs at once, trying to cover the left back position, wall cover essentially, because Bidwell was out of position so much. So I think he did a really, really good job in that back four. Bidwell for me today, he's got a 7.5 on FOTMob. I don't know what they are absolutely smoking. Can I have what they're smoking? Because he was the worst player on the pitch. I've got to give him a 6. I'll give him an average just because it is one of his first starts of the season. But oh my God, out of position every single time. His passing going forward was good. He put in a couple of good crosses into the box where we could have scored on another day, but he was just woefully defensively. Almost killed Cole Rushworth with that back pass, as I mentioned before. I'll give him a 6 out of 10 today. Some people will say it's a little bit harsh, but for me, I can see it like a sore thumb. He sticks out and he's not good enough for this level for us. Torp in the midfield, 8 out of 10. The way he drives in the midfield, I bang on about this every single week because I'm a Torp glazer. He is so good. It was the second half where he shrugged off the play in the midfield, drove down, and then played it to Mason Clark on the left-hand side. Could have slipped in Ellis Sims, to be fair, but he wanted to play that safe option and Mason Clark. He was so good, Torp in the midfield. Grimes, 7.5. I'll give him a 7.5 again in the midfield. Didn't do his usual stuff that he usually did, dropping into the back three. I feel like the occasion of him playing his former side kind of got to him a little bit. The Swansea fans giving him a lot of grief when he went to take corners and when he was on the ball. I don't get that. He gave you 10 years of service at the football club and he left to go and join a promotion team. I don't see what the problem is, honestly. You guys were a sinking ship at the time. I think it's really bad taste, personally. I think it's embarrassing, but you guys can do whatever you want to do. Tat Sakamoto, I'll give him a 7 out of 10. I don't think he was as good as a Wolverhampton today. As I mentioned before, a couple of times, he was good on the right-hand side, cussing in on his left, but the power behind the shots just was not good enough. There's not enough power. You need to put your foot through it sometimes, Tats. It's too predictable. It's too weak, and he needs to improve there. Other than that, jinkiness was really good today. He used his right foot a few times, put in some good crosses, but he wasn't at the levels that I expected him to be at today, especially with those shots that he had. Just really got to me. Jack Rodoni, I'll give him a 6.5. Wasn't as bad as Bidwell, but he wasn't as good as Tats. I feel like he was just in between. He got a couple of good chances where he drove into the midfield, as I mentioned before. That one thing that he did in the second half where he got the ball in the middle, just on the edge of our box, and he tried to dribble past 3 players. What are you doing? Just get rid of it, man. I don't know why he's trying to do something nonsensical like that, and it almost came to a chance where they scored from. So he needs to improve his A game. He's still lacking that little bit of sharpness in the midfield, but he needs the game time to get up to sort of speed when we're coming into this period of the games where we're playing Ipswich Town, we're playing Birmingham City, we're playing Charlton Athletic, we're playing all these teams in about a week. We're playing 4 games, so he needs to be ready, he needs to be sharp, and he needs to be given that game time, which he was today. Mason Clark, it's got to be a 9 out of 10. He was phenomenal today. The only thing I would criticize him for, as I mentioned before, is just being a little bit more greedy. Some games you can tell when they're being too greedy, and you can tell when he's not being greedy enough. He was setting up so many opportunities throughout the game for players, for Tats, for Ellis Sims, for Jack Rodoni. He was setting up those opportunities and they weren't taking it. If I was him, I would have said, sod you lot. I'm going to go forward. I'm going to have a couple of attempts on goal, which he did in the second half where he had that tame shot, but it deflected off the defender and almost went in. Caused a little bit of trouble for the goalkeeper. I would have liked to see him cut in on that right foot a little bit more and try and have a shot at goal. But other than that, he scored the winning goal, gets a 9 out of 10 for me. It was a fantastic finish. Really good game. He had a hole in the back of his shirt. I don't know if you guys saw that. So obviously he was in a bit of a tussle. The way that he mugged off that guy in the second half, Oh my days! It was absolutely embarrassing. I think I would retire if that were if I was that player. Yeah, easily the best player on the pitch today. Mason Clark, 9 out of 10. Ellis Sims, as I mentioned before, he wasn't good enough for what I expected. He held up the ball probably once in the whole game. With his stature, with his build, he's a confidence player. Of course he has, and he's been dropped recently for Hadji Wright, which maybe have contributed to the way that he's playing. But he's been given the start here. Lampard's put Hadji Wright on the bench, saying, "Go on, Sims, show me what you're made of," and he didn't perform to the levels that he needed to today. Could have scored on another day with that headed chance, but that's the only chance that he got in the game, to be fair. It's not like he was given 5, 6 chances and he was missing all of them. He only had one good chance, and it was a fantastic save by the goalkeeper. So I'm going to give him a 6.5. I don't think it was as poor as Bidwell, of course not, and I feel like he was kind of on level with Jack Rodoni. We were struggling up front today with chance creation and with players who were really good, and you could see that. Moving along to the subs, we got Hadji Wright came on. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Didn't do too much. He had that chance where Mason Clark got the cut back, got stuck under his foot, laid it back to him, and Hadji had that shot, and then he had a couple of other chances after that. He had more chances than Ellis Sims in the game, from what I can remember, and he didn't take them. I feel like he was getting unfair criticism again online. As soon as he came on, a lot of people were saying, Hadji Wright, sell him, sell him, sell him. I don't get this agenda. I honestly don't. We have two strikers at the moment who are poor in form. We're looking for other avenues of goals. Thankfully, Mason Clark's in his purple patch, like a lot of players have been this season. Earlier, we had Hadji Wright scoring the goals, then Brandon Thomas-Asante, then Victor Torp, Josh Eccles, Ellis Sims was scoring goals, and now it's Mason Clark's time to score the goals. He scored 3 in 3 games, and the two strikers aren't scoring at the moment, so it was poor by Hadji Wright. He should be scoring, but again, he's one of those players that just needs the goal, and then he'll be firing. Josh Eccles, I'll give him a 6.5. He came on for Jack Rodoni in the 68th minute mark, and I feel like he did a good cameo. I didn't notice him after probably about the 80th, 85th minute. He kind of fell off just because of how defensive we were, but other than that, I feel like when he got on the ball, he did the simple stuff, laid it back to the left back, rotated the ball around, and we were missing that at times in the first half where Jack was trying to be too expansive at times. Eccles came in and just slowed it down. That was obviously instructional by Lampard. KKH came on at right back in the 76th minute for Milan Van Ivek, and I feel like he did a solid job. You could tell that they were going for that left-hand side also when they realised Milan came off. Kane is quick. He showed a couple of instances where they tried to ping it down their left-hand side on the counter-attack, and he covered it well. He's not as quick as Milan, but he still has that pace, and I think he did a pretty good job, so I'll give him a 6.5. And then Miguel Angel came on for Mason Clark in the 90th minute. I mean, you can't really judge him too much, so I'll give him a solid 6 out of 10. And then moving along to Frank Lampard. It is 2 clean sheets in a row at home in the league for the first time in a long time, if I can remember. I think it's ever since we went on that run of games where we won 6 or 7 in a row. I feel like he didn't really do too much wrong today. He got the formation right. He picked the squad that he had to based on injuries, based on illness, and I think he did a pretty good job. So I'll give him a 7 out of 10. They kind of changed it in the second half. I believe they went a little bit more attacking. We didn't change our formation per se, but we did change the personnel at the right times. And one thing that I do criticise Lampard for, not recently, but I have done in the past, is his substitutions are a little bit too late. But here today, 67th minute, 68th minute, 76th minute, those are pretty good subs. So I'll give him a solid 7 out of 10 today. But that's my match reaction to Coventry City 1, Swansea City 0. It's our first home win against Swansea City since 1981. Of course, that stat is a little bit skewed because we were in the top division and they weren't there for so many years. But nonetheless, it is another statistic and another history that Frank Lampard has absolutely demolished. We go back to winning ways again. And with that result, it means that we sit top of the table still, 15 wins, 6 draws, 2 losses, 54 goals scored. They are drying up a little bit, but I mean, 54 goals in 23 games is still an amazing feat for Coventry City. 23 conceded, plus 31 goal difference, 51 points in the league so far. Halfway through, if we do the exact same thing in the second half, of course we would end with 102 points. Anything's possible in this league. The gap to Middlesbrough does grow because they drew today. We got 2 points on them, so it's back to 8 points. Remember when it dropped from 10 to 5 in 2 games and everyone was a little bit worried? Now it's back up to 8. Everyone just chill. This league is so open. It's so unpredictable this season. And if you look at all the results that happened around us, Middlesbrough drew, Ipswich drew, Hull drew, Preston North End drew. We just gained 2 points on all those teams in the promotion spots. And now the gap to Ipswich Town, of course, is currently 13 points to third spot. This is looking really good. And I did say I'd make a prediction halfway through the season of whether or not we're going to get promoted. And I'll make a video on that. You're going to have to wait for that. So if you've enjoyed this match reaction, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And we're trying to hit 700 subscribers before the end of the new year. I would really appreciate it if we could do that. I've only been on this platform for about 3 months, so it's an amazing feat if we could do that. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys for my match preview for Coventry City versus Ipswich Town. We're playing them again. We lost to them 3-0 previously. It wasn't a 3-0 game, but nonetheless, we have to bounce back and get a victory against the Tractor Boys.